long email.
Oh, no, don't worry about it at all. It's
So
all,
if for
yeah.
some reason I'm always challenged to find Zoom links. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if there's an easy way, an easier way. You know what I do for my Zoom calls and things? I go to my my calendar and I put it on there, and in description, I just add the Zoom link. Okay, I'm just pulling up.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
There you are. Zoom. It's challenge technology, challenging.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, I mean, I got to the point with the with the ghee, right? I had the first time I took 1 tablespoon on Thursday, then I took 1 tablespoon on Friday.
Okay.
I took 2 tablespoons on Saturday with and then I cooked the kitchery. Had a tablespoon. Of course, I didn't eat the whole thing.
Right.
It made a pretty good volume. But
oh yeah, I use it like 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
You take a little portion, little portion, little portion.
Yeah. So, but then on Sunday, I choked down 3 tablespoons.
Yeah. Once you get to that point where it's that's your body's telling you like, okay, I've had enough.
Well, but what I was going to say is other than other than a lot of gas.
Yeah. Well, it will pull things.
It didn't. I didn't have a big change in my bowel movements.
Yeah, I didn't that much either. A lot of the thing is when you notice after a few days, the bowel movement itself, if it has whiteness to it, if it has some mucus in it, if it has, like, everybody has different, but it should be pulling some toxins. But then after, remember, you can get to the point then when you either do like an enema, a salt water flush. Salt water flush, a lot of people like because it just pushes, everything out. So after doing the ghee for a few days, so it's going into your system, it's kind of gathering all these toxins and pulling in, and then the salt water flush flushes it all out.
So what is this, a salt water enema?
No, you drink it.
All right. Well, that's the first I heard about a salt water.
Okay. Yeah. Remember I said in the beginning that oleation sheet that has it on there, and it is.
So I didn't do that. I mean, after I did the 3 tablespoons, and really the only thing that I noticed that was any different, like I said, is just I was farting.
Yeah. Okay. So it was kind of pulling. So the saltwater flush, which you can do any time through. A lot of people like to do it. Like some women like to do an enema. Some people like to do an enema.
I'll pass on the enema. Thank you.
Yeah. Some people like to do that. Some people don't. But the saltwater flush, I did saltwater flush last year after. And you basically, it'll say like right in that oleation sheet. So you take like the quart of water, warm water. You put like 2 teaspoons of salt in it, whatever is salt is your preference, Himalayan, sea salt, black salt, whatever, just not like Morton's processed, salt. Some people go as far as use Epsom salt, which is pretty harsh. But you basically, you take it and you drink it after, and it'll just like flush so the oil brought everything into the system, and now the salt water is going to push it out.
Well, considering it's now Wednesday and I quit doing the stuff on Sunday, is there any point in?
It will still pull toxins and anything that the body has kind of set up could still be in there, in the lining, in the whole digestive lining. And a saltwater flush will push things like right out. So it's worth giving it a try if you feel like it. Again, you don't have to do any of that stuff if you don't want to.
Well, I mean, I get enough salt in my
Oh,
foods and.
yeah, well, this is not like, so you don't want to have a bunch of salt in your food, even through the cleanse. It's trying to get everything to a minimum and let the body be kind of clean and kind of clear. And but the flush, it actually gives a little bit of a, let me see, I'm going to pull it up. It gives a little bit of an explanation on the, let me pull up the sheet. Saltwater flush, oh, see other tips. Okay, I got to find the other tip sheet. Some people do the castor oil, as we discussed last time too. But what you're trying to do is pull things out of the system in a detox. So all of these undigested toxins, this AMA that accumulates year after year after year all over the body, you're trying to pull things out of. That's why we do like a very simple, easy diet, so that the body can keep going in and cleaning house. So it pulls it into that remember we spoke of the Mahavata Shirota, that main channel from like mouth all the way through to anus, like that whole digestive tract. So you're trying to pull everything into there and then get it out. You're trying to eliminate it. So there's,
all right. Well, so if every oleation phase is supposed to be followed by a saltwater flush,
or any kind, or,
and I didn't do it,
that's okay. It can be done at any time. The system is probably still setting up, like pulling things out and working, especially if you're really spacing your meals, if you're eating lightly. Like how are you finding this this cleanse? What are you finding easy? What are you finding challenging? Like, what is it for you?
Well, I mean, I did the kitchery a couple of times. Like, I made it on Saturday, so I had it twice on Saturday. I had it twice on Sunday. And then I've actually, I kind of quit Sunday.
You don't, yeah. The kitchery is no, I mean, that's no be all end all. Some people don't make the kitchery at all. They just do some of the other, some people really like to do like just the green juices or whatever kind of smoothie, or kind of following when the recipe.
I didn't
You didn't do any of the recipes, or?
I didn't do, I mean, I gotta say, Debbie, I'm just so damn busy.
Yeah.
I just, I barely have time to read the stuff that you send me.
Yeah.
And
but that's all right. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's
so, I was like, okay, I got the stuff to make the kitchery, and I thought I was doing good to that, but I've never made green juice or drink things.
No,
I've
you've never
ever done that,
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't even know how. And I was like, one new recipe is good enough. I'll just eat kitchery for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I never, and probably retrospectively, I should have just scratched the kitchery, because it's all carbs. And I honestly think it's the carbs in my diet that are the problem, the carbs and the sugar. And so maybe instead of doing the detox with the kitchery, I should have bought all the juice stuff and just slugged a bunch of green juice for 3 days.
Right.
Because
And
frankly, I just felt bloated and gassy during the cleanse. And so I'm like, somehow that didn't seem to me like what it was supposed to do. So I think I failed with a big F.
Well, don't say that. Don't beat yourself. I mean, you actually ate a very easy to, digestible. It's kind of maybe like where you eat, like if you were eating it under despair, kind of like, I'm not doing this right, or it's not, you're in a hurry or something. The kitchery is very, like I make it, and then sometimes if I was to have it again for dinner, I would add water, make it very soupy. Or
that's what I did the second day.
Yeah, so that's
I turned
good.
it into a soup. I just added a bunch of vegetable broth, actually.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So
give it more flavor.
Especially if you've never done a detox ever, the amount of that your body is pulling out and doing, and like you might not think things are working, and especially sometimes when you're doing the ghee and different things, it's pulling gas and stuff from, like, did you like when I make my sauerkraut, did you finish making your sauerkraut? Like how did that work?
Sauerkraut's great.
Yeah, so that will pull stuff into the system too. So you'll feel gassy, you'll be farting around, but it's
Well, I
pushing it.
wasn't eating the sauerkraut during the detox though. I
Okay.
mean, the only thing I was eating the first, the first 2 days, I didn't have the kitchery made. So I just I had some leftover soup and I had soup and then I made a salad.
Oh, good. So just light,
And,
easy. Okay, very good.
and then,
That's perfect.
and then one night, Friday night, we had a business dinner and I ended up getting a pasta primavera thing with salmon.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was just, it didn't feel like much of a detox other than forcing myself to eat the ghee.
Yeah.
And then feeling bloated and gassy. And I figured that might have the bloat feeling might have been from the kitchery because I'm not used to eating that much carbs.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's a very simple digestive combination. It's complete protein carb like mix. And sometimes if the body's not used to eating certain things like that too, but again, you were doing the ghee, it could just be pulling these things into the system and getting them out. And the more fiber you have in your system, that's another thing. It gives you that feeling of being like kind of, well, hopefully not the bloated, but that like full feeling, and that so that you are kind of sustained longer, so you don't want to eat in between. And rather
well, I
than,
noticed the ghee did that. I mean,
yeah, oh, absolutely, me too.
the 2 and 3 tablespoons of ghee, I was like, yeah, I'm not hungry for a long time.
Yes, me too. That's exactly one of the properties of one of what it will do. But the body, especially like on one of your first cleanses, I would definitely not get anywhere near discouraged. You can even like, I would advise, if you wanted to, like just kind of see where you are right now and just go forward a little bit. Maybe that means like you have a little bit of your meal or whatever it is, stay on the lighter side. And if you can challenge yourself, like continue to do a little bit of the intermittent fasting, or if you
Yeah, I
want
mean,
to,
I'm definitely doing that. I mean,
okay,
on the average day, I just have started skipping breakfast, period, right? I mean,
okay, very good. Yep,
so the average day is anywhere between, I would guess it's around 14 hours is my
okay,
average on almost every day.
very good, very
Um,
good.
and sometimes it's 16,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, again, so you need like a mile marker here. So remember, like in the summer when we were talking, when we came in, what your diet intake, what your routine, like what everything was like, and you're only a little bit into it. And look, you're already doing 14 hours. You're eating a little bit early. Like you're making huge changes. So the cleanse is just like, if you continue to do it, spring, fall, they get better. You experiment more, they get easier. You get more psyched to do them. You'll start. The very first one is some people find it very challenging. Some people find it like, very overwhelming because there's so much. That's why like the simplicity of it, like don't even pay attention to the recipes if you don't want to. If you want to have soup and salad and make it easy, and just do like the skipping breakfast, you have come huge, like gigantic changes from when you started.
I agree. I mean, because in that regard, yes. But I
And
guess,
that's what you have to measure.
I was thinking on the detox that I was, gonna like really have a bunch of sludge coming out and I might lose some weight,
Yeah.
but none of that happened. And
Well,
I
it
think
takes
I
more
gained some
days.
weight.
Yeah. Well, it does take more days to eliminate that out of your body and see like a weight loss. That's why we kind of do that 3 week, the 1 week in, then the hard week, and then the 1 week coming out. So you really get like 3 full weeks. So you started on Friday. So, and then you really got to
No, I
really start
started on
on,
Thursday. Started with the stuff
okay,
Thursday.
right.
The ghee started with the ghee on Thursday.
Okay.
That Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I did the ghee for 3 days.
Okay.
4 days for
And
4
had a
days.
nice light diet, but those,
Actually, I think I even did 2 tablespoons of ghee on Monday, and then I quit.
yeah, that was good. That's enough. Like I stopped after the same thing. I only did a couple days.
Right.
I just got the system oiled up, got things moving out. The ghee will go further into your tissue. And again, if you want to experiment, you could do saltwater flushes anytime during the whole cleanse. It doesn't have to be completely associated with any of the ghee intake. So your body will begin to, as it slows down in its diet, as you get to slow down a little bit, maybe in other aspects, and you're doing now more of that intermittent fasting. Sometimes you can do that saltwater flush first thing in the morning, and it'll just push things out. It'll just capture and push.
Well,
And I'll find that page, I'll find that sheet, and I'll send you that one specifically, just in case you want to try that.
yeah, well,
And you don't have to. I mean, by any means, you don't have to do any of those things. Just keeping up with like the lighter menu items and things as you can, and try to like take 5 minutes to just kind of sit and give yourself just that time. It's not only about the diet, it's going into like, what are the emotional parts of it? Like, what are you carrying into this? What are you trying to let go of to, go forward? So it doesn't have to
I
be.
have failed pretty miserably in being intentional about that. I mean, I had this big client stuff that was going on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And then this past weekend, I can't even remember. It's just a blur. I mean, I feel my whole life is just.
We're all kind of saying that. Isn't that crazy? Like, I've been saying it. Everything is going so fast. Kevin, forget it. He's already into like February. Like everything is just so. So if you could, today's only Wednesday. If you could take out your calendar like after dinner or after something tonight and literally schedule in 5 minutes of Laura time, like maybe 5 minutes Thursday, 5 minutes Friday, like you get to the point where we just go, 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 go. And that disrupts every bit of all of our senses, all of our routine, our body. And I feel the same way. It's like, doing things. I'm like, wait a second, I got to take 5 minutes and just slow down and stop a minute. So maybe 5 minutes in the morning before, because I really do like my yoga or whatever I'm doing. So
Well, I have been, I did some yoga yesterday, and I always in the mornings, the first thing I do when I get up is I drink a thing of hot water, and then while I'm making my coffee, and then I take my coffee and I sit and I pray.
perfect. Perfect.
So I do have the quiet time almost every day.
Good.
At least 10 or 15 minutes.
That's absolutely perfect. And give it an intention, that I'm going to try to do, give me like, or Lord, give me the grace to take 5 minutes to myself to set up. Although I don't really have the time to do the cooking and all that, give me the wisdom to just try to let this detox happen more easily. Let me just lighten up on some of the food intake and be a little more conscious of the next week or the next, whatever, and make it a little bit, beneficial, but make it simple. Like just, ask the Lord for a little bit of some grace to come into you, to give yourself that little bit that you need to just make it lighter and easier.
I'll tell you what, let's see if that's any better. Nope, now you can't see. Oh, wait, maybe that
Yeah,
is.
there you go.
My weekend, I was supposed to be leaving tomorrow morning to go on a camping trip. And I had to pack my car this past weekend. I took several hours to go through and get all of my camping gear out and test my stove and, check the batteries and all my flashlights, so my car is packed. It was packed on Sunday because the rest of this week, I was just like, I don't have time. I had meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening. And so I got my grocery shopping done on the weekend. I got my car packed on the weekend so that all I would have to do tonight is pack my clothes and then tomorrow morning pack the cooler. So, but I mean, that's, so I was all set to go on this camping trip with some really old good friends. They're my outdoor adventure people. And we got on a call last night for last minute planning. And one of my friends said, well, her husband just came down with COVID and she's quarantined now because she's been hanging out with him. And the other friend said, well, the weather it's looking like there might be a good bit of rain. And he's
Oh,
like, he's like, look, I don't want to go if we're going to be camping in the rain and it's going to be I mean, because it's that cyclone thing that's coming
yeah.
from the West Coast over this way. So, it's supposed to be hitting and 70 and 80% chance of rain all weekend long. And he said, forget it. I don't want to camp and hike in that. So
No, that's no fun.
so the weekend is now canceled. And I have Thursday and Friday planned off of work. So I'm going to take them off of work.
Take off from work and go hiking yourself. Make it now. Like maybe the universe just gave you a gift.
I am feeling that way because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so because I still have this to-do list. I have a to-do list that I can never get everything done because there's just not enough time to do it in 2 days on the weekend when I'm also trying to get my social life in. So now I'm like, oh, I have 4 days. Most of this stuff is yard work that I need to do, but then there's some paperwork and, I have to do this. I have a third interview next week with this company that I've been interviewing with, and they need a presentation. So I gotta prepare a 20-minute presentation, so, to deliver to them so they see how I
Right. So you,
do. Right.
well, you know what? Take the time to do that and do it mindfully. And again, don't beat yourself up over the cleanse because now you've got these days you can be productive and, oh, stop. That was just was starting the meeting, the iPad by itself, the 7:00 one. And I didn't do an automatic start. So that was weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the technology is getting a little scary.
Right. That wouldn't have happened if I wanted it to, and I wasn't ready for the call. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't have happened in a good way. But use this time now. It was just given to you. And again, your routines have come so great and you've done such an amazing thing. Keep it going from here. Like, who cares about what just happened during, this last week? And don't beat yourself up. All the things you did were all positive. They were all good stuff. So keep it going. Like maybe keep your diet nice and simple. Don't worry about going crazy cooking. Don't even spend the time. Like make maybe one nice soup or go to a place that you can buy a really good soup, a homemade soup, or a salad if you feel like it, or something like that. And have the other time go for a hike, do whatever you need in the yard, go out in the fresh air. That's all part of the detox. That's all part of changing that rut, that samskara that we create, that everyday grind, do. Now the universe has kind of said, you know what, Laura, you've got 4 days to do whatever the hell you want. Use it productively, and you're doing so fantastically. Keep it going. Like, we always get so hard on ourselves as a society. We're always like, oh, but we weren't perfect. There isn't perfect. Who cares? Remember the B minus? Just keep going for that B minus. Like, do it and do it with intention, and then like really be happy that you are doing as much as you're doing and you're accomplishing. And you've got like this time this weekend now, like your brain can do what it wants. It's not scheduled on work time. You got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And just keep going. And you know what? When you feel that light, I don't have to get up and go to work. you might not give a poop about eating breakfast or doing whatever, because now it's all Laura time. Like, don't even waste the time spending a whole bunch of cook and prep and stressing yourself out. Keep sipping your water, spice it up maybe if you want to, add a little ginger, little lemon, something to it, sip it, have yourself, that downtime, make intentions to do whatever you want on those days, and just keep your diet lighter. And you'll be amazed.
Well, that's, that is,
For the most part. You know?
yeah, the thing that it became obvious yesterday, because I was stressing out over what was going on with, are we going, are we not going? And then, the friend that I really wanted to see because his wife died, my best friend, one of my old best friends, like from when I lived in Atlanta, she died in July.
Oh,
And so I haven't seen her husband since 2 years ago, three
wow.
years ago, whenever it was. And so this was the trip that we were gonna do, not as a memorial to her, but certainly
Right.
it would be because she'd been to this place with us before a lot. Anyway, so all of this stuff, and are we going to go or are we not going to go? It was just like a 2-day period of just a bunch of shit
Yeah.
and a bunch of stuff happening at work. And I've been stress eating for the last 2 days. So I did the detox, finished it Monday morning, and then Tuesday and Wednesday night has just been, I was stress eating.
Yeah.
Like I still haven't figured out how to stop myself from doing that.
Yeah. Well, it usually is, remember the trigger habit reward. Like, okay, we should probably go back into that a little bit on another. So the trigger is the stress, and then the habit is eating, and your reward is like, oh, I got to eat that. But if you change, now it's stress. Maybe your new habit is to, if it's not pitch black out, or even if it is, stay in your neighborhood, just go for a walk instead of eating. Like, do something else, or pick up the phone again and call a friend, or run out to the store, do something, a new habit. And then the reward would be like, thank God I didn't do the stress eating again. Like, okay, I got through that one. And you just do one day at a time, or one time at a time. But then little after little, that trigger habit reward all of a sudden changes, and you have a new habit because you have a new different reward. Maybe your new reward is, watching something you want to watch, or just that you overcame and you conquered that stress eating instead of giving into it. Try to,
Yeah.
as soon as you want to go do it, like, I'm ready to go, walk out the door, or get in your car and go for, a drive, or, change the habit.
Right. Or even when I realize, I'm still only the trigger habit thing that I was that I think is probably the most effective is after dinner, brush my teeth and put my night guard in.
Yeah.
But I still am only doing that maybe twice a week.
Put a little sticky or something somewhere. Make it in. So that's your new habit reward, your habit trigger. After you eat, you're going to brush your teeth, put your guard in, and try to make that like more and more habit every night, every night, every night.
Right. Because on the nights when I do that, I do not do the grazing.
Yeah.
Now, if I could also get myself knowing that stress is a trigger for the same kind of bad eating, if I can get myself to brush my teeth when I'm stressed out
Yeah.
and put the night guard in,
Yeah.
that might, like when I can't get out, obviously the going for a walk is a very healthy thing, but
Yeah. Yeah. Even like, again, if you live in a neighborhood and there's street lights or something, go outside.
Yeah. So so there's that, but then the original question was, what is your why? Or,
Yes.
and I think I'm checking my front door to see if my friends are coming over. So I bought all this food to take up camping, and so I invited them to come over, have salmon for dinner. So,
Okay.
so, but I think that, for some reason, I know what my why is, right? I want to be healthier so that, and lose weight to be healthier so that I can continue to live an active lifestyle as I get older. And
Right.
not just what I'm doing now, but better than what I'm doing now, because what I'm doing now isn't really that great,
Okay. So then we would go into why do you want that? It's important, you like it, it's meaningful, like, and then, go deeper, but how, like, once you get to the core of that, like, you want to see yourself, like, for an example, you want to see yourself at 75 and your girlfriends call and they want to go camping or go hiking or do whatever. And you want to say, absolutely, I'm ready. Let's go.
That's right.
Because that's your joy. So every time you want to stress eat or do whatever, picture what your future self, if you keep on this trajectory, if you keep on what you're not happy with.
Yeah, it's going to be this and
What
more.
is right? Replaced knees, arthritis, too overweight. Like,
that's what I'm worried about, the knees for sure, because I'm already having some knee problems.
Right. And the more you do this and the more you do your intermittent or start to lose weight or start to eat better, have healthier habits, the loop and the loop and the loop, you can reverse that knee feeling. You can reduce the inflammation and replace it with fluidity again. Like, it's proven fact now. Like, people are understanding like this functional medicine and things now. Like, I'm getting like way down into that, better foods, better things, the real plant world, the whole food world, eating some fish and some, meats or whatever. But that's where the body's going to carry you on in longevity. So maybe you take a picture of yourself and you put it up, the last hiking that you got to do before COVID or something, having a really great time with that group of friends. Bring it out somewhere and make it visible all the time. So, and then make your hair gray or something in the picture. So it's 75, you're still going to be hiking with these friends and camping. But the intention has to be strong enough. Your why has to be enough to, it makes you.
But I wonder if that's what my problem is. Maybe it's just not a strong enough why. And that's why I can't seem to really get a grip on it.
And it could be the complacency in a in a kapha, and then a kapha imbalance. As it gets challenging, a kapha will get very complacent and just be like, well, okay, so we have to, as a person, know that we have that pitta in us and we have to find it, and we have to want that fire to carry and change our mind and change our, get up off the couch or be like, oh, but it's okay living like this. It's not that bad. Like, you have to get that pitta in you saying, it's not what I want. That's not where I want to be. I want to be healthier. I want to have a better vibrancy. I want to wake up like ready to go. And if stress comes at me, come at me. I can, I'm going to handle this. This all comes with just practice. Like, you're only 2 months into it, about 2, whatever. I mean, you have months to go that are just going to keep getting better and better and better. And you'll get more like this conviction and this, but it's all these tiny, it's Kaizen. Like, it's not going to happen tomorrow. But if you make that 1% change today, do something today, something tomorrow, something the next day, that's where you get like that investment. You get that compound interest. Every time you add to that interest, the interest gets bigger and bigger, and then the impact gets bigger. So it's not all going to change right now. I mean, I've been doing this for years, not just months. And you start to learn, all right, I'm going to do something a little bit every single day. And I'm going to try not to miss. Maybe I'll start with 3 days, then I'll go to 4. Then maybe I'll do something 5 days. So little by little, you are compounding your interest towards whatever that goal is.
I mean, yes, I when I see where I was when we talked in August,
Yes.
I was not exercising at all. And now I'm exercising probably 5 days a week, doing
That's
something,
fantastic.
right? Whether it's a pickleball
Yep.
or taking a walk or doing weights or doing an ab class and some yoga. So we're working out in the yard, right?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely more active than I was, and I am drinking more hot water than I
These are all
was.
huge wins. So, I mean, if you have that journal or that piece of like, write these things down, these are all milestones. They're huge. Like it's beginning of
And
that change.
doing the alternative fasting, which I
Yeah.
hadn't ever in my life done,
Yeah.
right? Because I had always been told that, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Hmm.
And, I was a 3 squares a day person
Yes.
plus snacks. I mean, my entire life. So cutting, sometimes I still get into the snacks, especially at night. But, when I look at it overall, there's been a lot of those kinds of changes, and I did lose the 10 pounds like right up front.
Yeah.
I haven't lost any more weight.
Well,
I'm bummed. I'm like, am I, what is it? Am I doing it wrong, or my head just isn't in the game enough?
yeah.
Why am I not seeing more results?
Yeah. Sometimes the body, especially on a big shift like this, it takes a little bit of time for it to settle, pull things out, get it. And then especially like the eating earlier, like, in the very beginning, I used to take a sign and put kitchen closed, for myself. So mine was like getting down to like 7 o'clock or whatever. That's it. I'm not even going to walk in the kitchen anymore. I've got my hot water outside the kitchen. Kitchen is closed after 7. So little by little, takes a little bit of time for your body to adjust and do for it. But the more you do it and the less you add in that snacking and all that, it all starts to then come together. And then it's little by little, it'll be little half pounds, 1 pounds, like then it will happen. And then the more you see it happening, you're cutting the meal sizes down, you're cutting out meals or the
Yeah,
snacking,
yeah.
and those, when you get in
Yes.
those points where you then go back, the body has that memory, like it kind of remembers. And it's this whole cycle that takes, again, you haven't been doing it that long. You're doing great. You're doing amazingly well. So you have to keep like, all right, I'm really doing this and I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to, little tiny steps every single day. And I'm going to set my intentions. And it does become easier. Then it becomes a way of life where that old stuff doesn't even exist anymore. Like you don't even want to snack then after a while. I mean, it takes months and months and months to where you change your mindset. And it's like, I don't even need that. Like you're like, no, I know that's going to interfere with my tomorrow. How do I want to feel tomorrow? I'm setting it up today. And how did I feel today? Then you look back at yesterday, you're like, oh, now I know.
Yeah, well, I've had a few of those mornings
Yeah.
too. I'm
And
like,
it's a telltale sign, like
yeah.
you're feeling just
Well,
not.
when I stayed up to, so I stress ate and drank and smoked pot, and I stayed up too late. I did it all of the bad old things, all of it, 2 nights in a row. And
Yeah.
now I feel like shit.
Yeah. And again, that'll put weight back on really fast because we have that memory. The body says, okay, we're storing again. We're not getting rid of things. We're storing, we're eating, and I can't digest this. So I'm just going to keep pushing it. It's going in deep. And it just starts doing it. And it does it really fast again. So again, but don't ever beat yourself up over that because you have tools in your toolbox now. All right, I'm pulling out this tool and I'm pulling out that tool and I'm going to go right back to my routine and I'm going to forget about that. I'm going to undo it. And that's how we keep going forward positively. You don't beat yourself up and say, oh, I'm a failure. This sucks. You just say, you know what? Damn, I had 2 bad days, but I'm not going to do that anymore. Right? Tomorrow and the next day, I'm going forward the way I know I'm supposed to be going. And then you do that. And then that's how we just keep going forward.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
And
Well,
keep sipping the hot water. Even on the bad days, keep sipping the hot water.
yeah, that's, it's funny because I didn't expect to like hot water, but I actually like it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, and I think I'm going into my office to grab my cup, but
There you go.
it's I've been drinking a lot of hot water, I gotta say.
Good.
Mhm.
There you go.
I even took hot water with me when I went to go play pickleball this morning, right? Because in between games,
Yeah,
so I'm sipping on my hot water, playing
that's great.
pickleball.
I mean, just think of that. You just said when I got up this morning to play pickleball. That wasn't happening.
No, it wasn't.
And you took hot water with you. Those are two huge habits that you've already adopted and are doing because you want to.
Right.
That's huge. Like these are things other people don't even know exist, and you're doing them.
Oops.
So give yourself a big pat on the back and know that going forward, especially these next 4 days, it's going to be fantastic for you. It's
Yeah, I
all
am
your
looking
plan.
forward to not having not having a definite agenda.
Yeah.
So,
Well, good for you, and enjoy. Just do what you want. Again, make the diet just light and easy. Don't worry about it. Don't stress over cooking unless you feel like cooking something. Salad, soup, make it easy. Like just go outside in the fresh air.
I was going to tell you though, you're like, oh, kitchery, it's so easy to make. It took me an hour to make that kitchery.
Well, I should have said too. So back in the day when I was making it on the stove, now I just put the stuff in the Instant Pot. That thing is amazing. I do soups. I roast beets. You can do everything in that thing. You put it on and you just hit the timer for like 7 minutes. It pressurizes. It cooks for 7
Well,
minutes.
I mean, you had to like, okay.
Yeah, I had
still
to
have
chop.
to wash and
Yep.
soak and wash the beans, which
Yes.
I did the night before.
That's what
So
I do.
let it right.
That's what I
But
do.
then you have to saute all of the spices,
Yeah.
and then you have to put the stuff in and let it cook, and then it's like, okay, then you're going to put the turnips in, so you got to peel the turnips and cut them up and then throw them in, and then you wait for another 15 minutes, and then you go throw the other vegetables in.
The ones that cook less. I
Yeah.
don't even do that anymore. I just throw it all in to the Instant Pot, and they all get soft. They're not really crunchy. But then the next 3 meals at lunchtime, I don't have to cook. I just take a little bit more out of the cold pot and I heat it up.
Right.
So then it takes time that first time, but
Yeah.
then you get to
Well, I
eat
agree.
it.
I mean, I still have a little bit left, and
Yeah.
it is good as soup.
Yeah, that's what I do. A little bit of, soup.
Mhm.
And of course I do the lime and the cilantro or the coconut
Yeah, that really helped.
yeah. All right. You are doing fantastically. Everybody, everybody has whatever they deem themselves as, oh, I didn't do this right. It's not supposed to be a perfect every time. And even when you start, most people will say like, all right, I'm going to try to do this 2 days a week to whatever the new habit, whatever it is, change. Then after they're like, oh, I can do 2, then maybe they do 3. So you're really doing everything perfectly. Sometimes in the cleanse, as you start to do it, like if you do the spring again, and then you'll kind of maybe look, well, I can do it for 4 or 5 days in a row this time. And you just keep adding to it. And then it becomes like, oh, I can't wait for the cleanse because I know my body needs to get rid of a whole bunch of shit. Like, so
I guess that's the thing is I don't feel like I got rid of a bunch of shit.
Yeah, well, you probably didn't, because then you had the stress, and then you did stressed eating, and then so that totally interrupts that, like the body's going in deep and then it gets filled up and he's like so, but who cares, because now you got 4 days to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So enjoy.
Yes, I will. So, yeah, starting tonight, I have some other friends whose birthday I missed. And just invited them to help eat some of the food that I bought for the camping trip. So
Yeah.
it didn't go bad, but so yes,
Very
I
good.
I hope you have a good weekend too. You got
Thank you.
any big plans?
No plans. Not that I can remember. No, nothing. It's
Just
gonna
hanging.
be, and then I go to South Carolina on Tuesday.
Oh, okay, all right.
Going to see Katie and the kids.
And where do they live again?
Columbia.
Okay, they're in Columbia now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm very much looking forward to it. It's gonna be a blast. Go
Yeah.
hang out with
That's
my
where
little
Greg-
little
That's where
pumpkin.
Greg went to school.
Yes, right, exactly
Yeah.
right there.
So there is a national park there. Did you know it's called the Congaree?
Yes, I think they have been there because Richard grew up there.
So they've got some hiking trails, but if you have time,
Oh,
and
I
if
would
you like
definitely.
if you like to go kayaking,
Ooh, okay.
there's a local outfitter that he'll take you out for 2 or 3 hours and you kayak through the Congaree because it's a swamp. That's what it is. So there are some hiking trails, but it's way more fun if you.
Yeah, I'll see. She has us kind of scheduled, for the few days that I'm there, but I'll see. I might have some time.
Right.
So
But anyway, so yeah,
thank you.
I did that with Lisa in March this year.
Oh,
Went down there. Yeah, it was kind of neat. I'm like, hey, national park in South Carolina? Really? I
let's
guess I'll
go.
go check it out. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So,
Well, I'm looking
all
forward.
right.
All right, enjoy your
Thanks,
company.
thanks for the encouragement. And
You're doing great. And I would just keep going tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. And enjoy it. Set an intention and ask the Lord for that grace to, show me through.
all right.
Have
Talk
a
with
good
you
night.
next week.
Okay.
Bye.